Hello, everyone. My name is Harvey Brownstone, and today's special guest is a legendary actress whose monumental body of work includes some of the most critically acclaimed and beloved movies and TV shows ever made. She's been nominated for 3 Academy Awards for her performances in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Wild at Heart, and Rambling Rose, in which she and her daughter, Laura Dern, made show business history as the first mother-daughter duo to earn Oscar nominations for the same film. She's won dozens of international awards, including the British Academy Award, the Golden Globe Award, the Independent Spirit Film Award, the Susan B. Anthony Award, and the Palme d'Or Award at the Cannes Film Festival. She's been nominated for 3 Emmy Awards for her performances in Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, Grace Under Fire, and Touched by an Angel. In addition to her Oscar-nominated roles, some of her most iconic movie performances can be seen in Chinatown, A Kiss Before Dying, Christmas Vacation, The Cemetery Club, Mrs. Monk, which she also wrote and directed, Ghosts of Mississippi, Primary Colors, Joy, and one of my all-time favorites, The Last Full Measure, directed by Todd Robinson, who appeared on our show last year. And in addition to the 3 TV shows I already mentioned, for which she earned Emmy nominations, she's delivered some of her most memorable television performances in dozens of shows, including Chesapeake Shores, Kingdom Hospital, and Enlightened, once again co-starring the wonderful Laura Dern. She's written 2 best-selling books entitled Spiraling Through the School of Life, A Mental, Physical, and Spiritual Discovery, and A Bad Afternoon for a Piece of Cake, which won the 2014 Tennessee Williams Literary Award. And I'm very excited that she's here to talk about her newest film entitled Isle of Hope, an unforgettably poignant and moving film about a mother-daughter relationship that takes a dramatic twist when the mother has a life-threatening stroke and wakes up thinking she's living 15 years in the past. Take a look at the trailer.
As actors, it is our job to surrender and learn how to be present. Hi, Mom.
What am I doing here?
So she doesn't recollect anything from the last 15 years?
In most cases, stroke victims have full recovery within 3 months, but could be as quick as 3 days.
She thinks it's 15 years ago.
I need to talk to both of you because I don't know if I'll ever get another chance or not.
Oh, Mom, no, you are going to live many more years. At least 15 more.
And how many grandchildren will I have?
We're fine like this.
Why not have another one now?
Eleanor wants to come live with me and Rhonda.
So you both decided already?
Is there any way that you can not take this personally?
Why? Is it happening to someone else?
It's not about you.
I just need some space. Look, it is not my responsibility to keep you company for the rest of your life.
No one in the world loves you.
Really?
What I was trying to say is that nobody in the world could love you more than Eleanor and I.
But you paused.
Well, I'm an actress. It was probably for dramatic effect.
We're not kids anymore. For better or worse, we're not just what our parents made us. And I think we have to take responsibility for our part.
Our guest's performance as Carmen Crawford, the mother in this film, is generating enormous Oscar buzz throughout the industry, and that's no surprise to anyone. After all, the renowned film critic Richard Corliss of Time magazine said it best when he wrote that this woman is one of the top 10 actresses, not only in America, but in the entire world. I'm overjoyed and tremendously honored to welcome the magnificent Diane Ladd to our show. Miss Ladd, thank you so much for being here.
That was almost too good. I felt like you were talking about somebody else. You're my new best friend there, okay? That's
well, you did all that. It's well deserved.
You forget what you've done in this world. You're always looking to see what you haven't done and what you need to do. And just sitting listening to you, it was as if I was an observer standing outside myself, listening to you talk about somebody else. It's strange, isn't it? I bet you do the same thing. I bet we all do the same thing, even kids in school. When the teacher reads the report card, they think, oh, is he going to mention that C that I got? And then they hear the A and you don't hear the A. You just say, oh, Dad's going to have a fit when he sees the C. And so.
Well, I hope you heard it all because it's well deserved. I want to begin by thanking our mutual friend, Harriet Schock, who facilitated our introduction after she saw your latest movie, Isle of Hope. I'm so thrilled that Harriet put us in touch and that you agreed to talk with me about the movie.
Thank you. Well, she's quite a talent in her own right. She's written, we've written a musical together, and maybe if COVID goes away, we might finally get it to Broadway. It's kind of good. It's a burlesque thing. And Rex Reed saw it when we tried it at the Actors Studio. And he said, this is like the producers. This will run forever. Well, we don't know because we never got to try it.
It'll happen. Now, as you know, Miss Ladd, I've had the opportunity to see the movie.
Diane, please.
Oh, thank you. As you know, I've had the opportunity to see the movie, and it's magnificent. It's a moving and emotionally powerful story focusing on mother-daughter relationships and ultimately about the healing that comes from resolving old wounds and feelings of betrayal and old grudges. Congratulations, Diane, on delivering such a layered and nuanced and brilliant performance.
Thank you very much. It was a privilege. These are independent filmmakers from Argentina. Omar Romay, his father was like the Selznick of Argentina, very beloved, and the man loved art. He even helped decorate for free, add money to the theater, big theater they have there, because he thought it should be prettier. They had the first level decorated in piers, but not the second. And he put up his own money to equalize it. He was a true lover of the arts. And then after his death, his son Omar, or who worked with him, took over. And then his son, Damien, is a director, and he adopted this script from a play by an Argentinian great playwright. So he added the whole third act of the film is entirely Damien's creation, added to the first two acts.
Tell me what drew you to this story.
Well, I love the fact that in life, most of us are wondering about our yesteryear. We go through life saying, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. Well, the truth is, if you hadn't have done that, you'd have done something else that you still might be saying, I wish I hadn't have done that. We all make mistakes. We're all vulnerable beings. We all have secrets. We all took the wrong choice at times, we think, or the wrong turn. Maybe not, maybe not. But yesteryear is right here with us today. And how we still are bent on solving it is the groundwork of the path for tomorrow. So the past, present, and future really are always one. And so in this film, it brings it home to, I consider myself a teacher. As an actor, I'm a teacher. I simply reflect you. I just reflect you. Saint and sinner, hero, villain, I just show the world the times we're living in. That's my job. And so when I reflect a yesteryear, this is a chance to truly bring it home, because she wakes up from a stroke, which they don't think she's going to wake up from. And this does happen when you have a stroke. It happens quite often that people misconstrue time. So she thinks it's 15 years earlier. And she thinks that her daughter's still married to her ex-husband. And she thinks the kids are still little. And she left in her mind right when things were being solved that haven't been solved. So when she brings up things that they all think they solved, which they didn't, or maybe didn't do correctly, it throws everybody into a spin. And I think many people are going to look at this film and see their own lives.
I think so too. I think so too. You know, the chemistry between you and Mary Stuart Masterson, who plays your daughter, Victoria, is pure magic, don't you think?
Thank you. Oh, it was magic to work with her. Her father, Pete Masterson, directed me and Robert De Niro 40 years ago off Broadway in an off-Broadway show. So for me, this is a circle, because then there's Sam Robards, who's incredible. He plays my son, William, in the film. And the relationship isn't just a mother-daughter. It's also a brother-sister. They have to solve their relationship. And then the son-the-mother relationship. And then the husband-wife. So there's 4 relationships kicked off by Carmen to be investigated. I just got a review, by the way, from the great Rex Reed. We've only had beside you 1 reviewer come to see our film. They're all too busy with the big movies, the big bucks movies. And then you come along with a little pearl and an oyster, and you can't get anybody to come peek inside the oyster and say, hey, could you just check us out? But Rex Reed did. And he gave us an incredible review that hasn't come out yet in the Observer, but it will. And he too, like you, complimented all the actors and said it's a simple film, but with big emotions and important themes.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the first of many reviews. You just wait and see. I'm wondering, Diane, what was the most challenging aspect for you of playing Carmen Crawford?
I'll tell you what it was. I was great in January. I was skipping all over the place last January. In fact, I'd sold a very big house because I'm getting older. I don't need it now. It's too much work. And so I'd gotten a condo instead, beautiful little condo and decorated and everything. And bam, the year that I did 2 movies, I did a TV series and wrote a book and was really in top health, and I got COVID.
Oh,
Didn't get it out there shooting among people. Didn't get it out there. I got it because my husband hugged a neighbor and bam, got it and gave it to me. And he was taken down really bad. He found out he had a blocked artery and he was in rehab for over 6 months, making a comeback from it. So it was a treacherous year. And I had COVID and I had already committed to do the film. So now I thought, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to get the energy? She is sick part of the time. I can lay in bed, but it takes a lot of energy to find the right chord to play, whether it's harmonic or disharmonic. And I thought, how I'm going to do this. So I prayed over it real hard. And I have a little voice that talks to me. And they said, you're supposed to do this, get out there and do it. So that biggest challenge was my assistant, Michelle, went with me, and she helped me. And the director knew. The producer didn't know at times that I actually did have to be on the breathing machine. So I used it, of course, in the film, but the challenge was I had to work hours without it as well. And one time Omar saw it when we had dinner. He said, oh my God, why does this actress have a breathing machine? Is she okay? Is she all right? And I said to him, Omar, it's part of my character, which it was. I said, I'm a method actress, which I am. So it soothed him, but I also used it for a while. But the challenge was recovering from COVID, because when it hit me hard.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Diane.
Yeah.
Now there's
I'm sorry for everybody who it hit.
Yes.
I think it was a bad flu. I think this word COVID is very misconstrued, because I once had a flu that I almost died, and it was the same thing. So.
Well, I'm very, very sorry to hear you went through that, and I hope you're feeling okay now.
I'm feeling great now. Great, but a little tired because we've got a screening tonight, the great Limley Theater in LA and Encino. We're qualifying. We're going to be now starting tomorrow in the Academy screening room. So I can only pray that the actors would possibly really look at the films before they vote. There's always so much pressure. There's like 125 films. But the problem is that all of the big movies have big screenings everywhere. And then they give you food afterwards and big invitations, and a lot of flyers go out. I've been through this, if I should be so lucky to get a nomination, it would be my 4th nomination.
Yes.
And I've been through this nearly every time. God never made it easy.
The 4th time lucky, you'll see.
Well, the first time, I got to tell you, a very powerful lady, head of a big magazine, called me. I was just a kid, starting out. been in New York, came from New York and struggling. And my father's a veterinarian. My real name was Ladner or Lanier. It was two names. The Laniers were also Ladners. And Tennessee Williams is my cousin,
Yes,
the
I
great
know.
writer, the genius. So I just was new, and I got this phone call. She'd seen Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, which was my first big film. And she called me and said, "Kid, you're a genius. You're a female Jimmy Dean. You're a star. You're a born star." She said, "You can win this Oscar. You just need to spend enough money on your campaign." And I said to her, a very powerful lady, I was so impressed that she called me. And I said, "Well, Mrs. So-and-so, I don't have any money. My father's in a hospital and his partner had just stolen all his money. And my mother was saying, 'Diane, you come home to Mississippi.' And I knew if I went home, I'd never get back." And I said, "Mrs. So-and-so, I don't have any money." And she hung up the phone in my face. Click. She hung up the phone in my face. And then I realized I lost that Oscar to Ingrid Bergman. And my company spent maybe $100,000 on our campaign. I know that over $1 million was spent on my competitor. And then the next Oscar, I lost the precious Whoopi Goldberg, and her company spent $1.5 million on her campaign. She even bet money on me in Vegas that I would win. But I'm telling you, everybody deserves money. Everybody should have money. Everybody needs money, and money is energy. But if money blocks the work, if money overrules the work, that's not right. Because there's an old saying that any country that loses its culture, history has proven, will lose its country. That's pretty scary. And right now, culture is in trouble. Culture's in trouble. And in my own country too, culture's in trouble. And we need to teach our young actors, we need to teach them. You don't just get on TV and say your lines and indicate. If you really want to be an artist, you have to work at it. Study. People like Marlon Brando and Geraldine Page and all these great actors, Kim Stanley, the greatest, they didn't just sit around with their finger in their ear. They worked like a doctor at their craft and learning their skill. And a lot of kids aren't doing that I work with today. If there's going to be another Laura Dern, then we better teach these kids that this is work and it's important.
Well, this
Everything,
is
whether you
a
go-
movie that I think really does provide a master class in acting. I want to ask you about a very poignant scene where your character, Carmen, tells her daughter, Victoria, that her only regret is that she didn't give her daughter enough support. She says, "I didn't want you to have the life that I had, so I stood by and I let your dream die." Diane, it made me wonder what your reaction was when your daughter, Laura, told you that she wanted to pursue an acting career.
Now listen, Harvey, you can't ask an actor what they use for emotionally for a scene. That's like asking a doctor, "Excuse me, when you cut on the gizzard, what did you use to remind you of how to do that slice?" Because you never know what you're going to use. The whole thing is you train the instrument. I'm going to answer this two ways. As an artist, there's a performer, which I also am, singer, dancer. Then there's the actor, which is I'm primarily what they call Stanislavski method acting. The English people, they stimulate the body language that arouses the inside. We go the other way in America. We go the Russian method, which is stimulating the emotion to then make the body react. So it's inside, outside, whichever one you're going to use first. So the more skilled you are, the more professional and experience you have, somewhere in you, you know what is needed, the salt, the pepper, the cumin, the garlic, what is needed for this meal to stimulate the taste buds to produce the exact replica of emotion. And sometimes it's not at all what you think. You could be using heat and a sunburn and have your skin feel like if anybody touches it, it means that you'll die. There's so many things, but your soul, if it's trained, it knows Most actors are high intuitive, and you know what the right spice is. That's the key to being a great artist. So when I did that scene, what I chose, you never guess, and I'm not telling it, what I used to bring about the proper key to unlock that door for that right emotion that fits that scene, that fits it. But I can tell you what I told Laura.
Okay.
I said, don't be an actress. No, no. I said, be a doctor, a lawyer, a leper missionary, housewife, anything, not an actress, because you're judged too harshly. They ask you if your chin points when you cry. Are your boobs big enough? Does your backside have a pound on it? They don't care if you're a doctor and you can save your life. They don't care how much weight you got on. But by golly, if you're an actor, they're going to tear you asunder. Do you really want to live that kind of life? And she outsmarted me. Laura was only going on 11. She wanted to take some acting lessons. And she said, oh, Mother, you always help everyone with their dreams. And she said, you know, if you've encouraged me to play the piano, I'm not going to be a concert artist, but you want me to play the piano. If you let me take these little acting lessons, Mom, I'm sure I won't even want to be an actor later. I just want to do it now. Oh boy. And then when I did see her act at 14 in a little movie, Adrian Lyons, the director, it was a little picture called Foxes. And we were at a party and Bo Hopkins' house, the late Bo Hopkins, great actor. And she went up to his agent and said, my mother and daddy won't help me and I want to be an actress. Can I come do a scene for you? She did this on her own. And the woman said, oh, okay. And so Laura got my nanny that helps me to drive her over there. And she put on a scene in the office of the agent. And I'll be darned if the agent didn't send her for an interview the next day for a lead in a movie. I was dumbfounded. I thought, okay, let her go. Let her feel rejection. Let her learn now. So she goes, and then the director, she's 14. And the director tests her for a 20-year-old part. The girl who got it was 17. And so then I come home and Laura's crying, sobbing because she didn't get it. And I said, well, honey, this is why I don't want you to get into this field. It's too much rejection. You're going to sob, honey. And she said, Mother, please, I'm young. She said, I can't eat chocolate. My face will break out. I'm too young to drink. What can I do besides cry? So she cried her heart out. And then the director, who was wonderful, he said, you know, your daughter has a gift. And he said, I'm going to give her a little part in the movie. And he did. In this picture, Foxes, she was 14 years old. And then he calls me when it's over and he says, I want you to come see your daughter in this film. And I thought, oh, please. So I go to see her. And I saw it. I saw it, Harvey. I saw the talent. I started to cry.
Oh.
I thought this soul has a gift. She chose me to be her mother. And she came through my body to get born into earth, to share her gift. We all have a gift to share. We all are here to serve. And she chose me. I started crying because I saw that gift. And I thought, I better let her study.
Well, you definitely did the right thing, and she did the right thing to pursue it. And the two of you have created magic together. Now, the thing about your performance in Isle of Hope that really stands out for me is that I feel like this role of Carmen at this stage in your career contributes in a significant way to your own spiritual journey. Am I right?
All the work I do, anytime I act, contributes to my spiritual journey. Because as I said before, I think people are given gifts to use. And I think that, for example, at Oscar time, I think that anyone who's nominated or anyone who feels they were nominated and didn't get nominated, they're winners because they're part of the whole. All the people who help do the makeup, the crew, everybody's part of a unit that is promoting understanding. You know, in ancient Egypt, show business, acting, and medicine was the same profession because it was considered a healing profession. We make you laugh, hopefully, and get rid of gas. Hello. And we make you cry and get rid of your blocked pain and help you understand, either forgive somebody or see what things clearer. So it's a healing profession in its origination.
Now, when you watch your performance in the movie, what goes through your mind, Diane?
I like my own work. I don't think that's about egotism. I think I like my own cooking. So, you know, I usually do. Sometimes I'll see something where I made a mistake and I'll think, oh God, I missed that. But I like others' works too. I love to watch the work. You know, I love good work. I guess I love good medicine. I love good journalism. I love good literature. I love when people use their gifts to share. I mean, that's how we all evolve to another level.
Well, you've done that in spades. After you won an Oscar nomination for your portrayal of Flo in Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, you turned down the offer to play Flo on the TV show Alice, but you did agree to play another waitress named Belle, who was a singer-songwriter, and you won a Golden Globe Award for that portrayal. Is it true that you and your dad wrote most of the songs that you sang on that show?
No, not most, one. I actually created the role of Flo originally in the film, and then was offered by a TV company to play Alice, the lead. And I turned it down because I wanted to go back to New York and be the great actress. And so what I did was go back to New York and starve. So I went back and I was there. And then it seemed very honestly that Polly Holliday, who played Flo, the part I created in the movie, and Linda, who played the lead, didn't get along too well.
Oh,
I was lied to. When I went to talk to Warner Brothers, I asked the head man, Alan, well, listen, is there any truth to the rumors that there's tension? Because I don't want to walk into a hornet's nest. I want peace and harmony in my life. I don't want to sound, they offered me big money. And I'd never made a lot of money as an actress, even for the movie. I remember Marlon Brando once said to me, what do you do with all your money? I thought, oh, my money? Would you like to know what I made to do that picture? It was, shoot, I wasn't going to lose that part. There were 1,000 girls that wanted that job. I took it for 2 cents, for whatever I could get. And I just was courted. Linda took me to lunch and was very kind and said, Diane, you know what a struggle it is in this business. And you'll be able to take your, know when you're going to have a vacation with your baby as a single mother and all that. But there was a lot of tension. The pattern was already set that Flo, Polly, who was a lovely actress, was over here, and Linda and the other actors were over here. They were divided. And there was tremendous tension between them. And the director was used to doing them here, and my character there was Polly. And when Polly left, she came and patted me on the head and said, good luck. She left because they gave her a pilot to spin her off for her own series. But they didn't give her a good pilot. They didn't give her a good pilot. And so here I am, and I did it, the show, for 6 months to a year. And it was not always a peaceful, happy experience. I always wanted to, I think Linda might have felt threatened by the powers that be, or threatened by Hollywood. Everybody who worked with her in New York before she'd come to TV had said she's so wonderful to work with, but she was very competitive and we didn't always cooperate. I was shocked. I was shocked by the experience. I left. I just left. I went to them and I said, I want out. And he said, well, we have a contract with you. You can't get out. And I said, let me tell you something. You don't want an actress on your set who's not happy. I want to go on with my life. I want to be happy with the actress. Life is short. None of us know when we're going to leave or go or die. And while I'm here working, I want to be happy and I want to make everybody around me happy. And if I can't do that, then, you know, that award I won, I wasn't even invited to sit with the other actors at their table. There was like jealousy. And I thought, I don't, this is ridiculous. I don't want to do this. And they worked very hard, the actors, including Linda. She worked very hard to make her show a hit. But I think by the time I got there, there had been a pattern established of tension, and I was pushed into it that had nothing to do with me. And sometimes this happens to people. It happens in families. And that's what the new movie is about, is to break these patterns, you know.
Well, I hope that that experience wasn't typical for you. I know that in Cemetery Club, you sang pretending to be Marilyn Monroe. Now, that was a terrific movie. You must have had a good time on that set.
I did. It was Olympia Dukakis, who's in heaven now, and I adore the ground that woman walked on. She was brilliant. And there's Ellen Burstyn. That was our second movie together. We did Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore together. You know, the film that Laura and I did, Ramblin' Rose.
Yes.
Do you know that Princess Diana chose that as her favorite movie?
And didn't she host the premiere and a party afterwards for the two of you?
She flew us to London, and she had a royal premiere and a party in our honor. And she sat between me and Laura, holding both our hands while crying, again, watching it a second time. I was pouring sweat. I thought, she's holding my hand, she's crying in my performance. I was so nervous. And she was the most wonderful, down-to-earth human being, one that I've ever had the privilege of meeting. She was so real, so there. She was a great human being, great human being.
Well, I'm so happy that you gave her that experience not only of the film, but of the opportunity to watch it with you and for you to see her reaction. I'm glad that she got some comfort from having you there.
Thank you. That's a lovely thing to say. You'll make me cry. She was a good person, a really great person.
I know this may be an impossible question, Diane, but do you have a favorite role of all the roles you've played?
Yeah, it's Rambling Rose. It was Mother in Rambling Rose. I felt that was the most like me. I felt that mother was the most like the real me. And so I guess that it is, you know, that script was given to me, and I knocked on doors for 5 years trying to get it made. And everybody said, oh, no, go do it for TV. It's too good. And you know that I'm told that when Clint Eastwood won the Oscar for The Unforgiven, that he actually said on television in front of millions and millions of people, the film that should have won was Ramblin' Rose.
He's right.
Was a decent thing of him to do. Wow, what a human being, huh?
He was right.
Thank you. Well, yes, sometimes the only thing that's important about that is whoever wins the Oscars or gets nominated, at least we got nominated, is it helps get a lot of people to see it. And that's why I'm hoping Isle of Hope, which actually really gives people hope, especially after the 3-year COVID thing. That song at the end, if you listen to those words in that song at the end of the film, it's almost as if some angel sat the composer down in the room with us and had me talk to him personally, because it's like my words come to life, or the mother's heart and soul being born all over again. That song, it's written by Steve Dorff and Bob Timbaland and Linda Thompson. She did part of The Bodyguard. Those words, the music is stupendous. And this company, Damien Romay and his father working with this company, wasn't a big budget, but the crew loved the producer and director. They were like a family. They were treated so nice and so fair. The director never cussed, never lost his temper, not once on that set. And everybody chipped in to help do anything they could. It was a family of love. And it's wonderful when you have that in your own family, or you have that in a working situation. It allows you to do your work more free. I mean, because if you've got 150 crew out there, you have to like detach from them totally. I call it Diane's divine detachment. But you've got to totally detach and be alone in your own world to create the vulnerability of your own emotions, because I'm sure you and every other human being has sat in a room where somebody said something and it reminded you of something in your own life that you maybe were ashamed of or wanted to hide. And you thought if anybody knew what you were thinking, you'd be so mortified. Well, honey, if you're an actor, you have to take those same feelings and you have to put them out there for the whole world to see.
Well,
And
the
when it's-
movie, there's something about the way that you portray every character I've ever seen you play, where you feel as an audience member that you're talking to me, that you're helping me understand myself better, that you're
Oh my
helping
God,
me.
as you made my life complete. You fill my bucket list with that statement.
Well, it's very true. I don't know whether you recognize there's an intimacy in your acting, because there's a realness that makes me feel like you're helping me resolve issues that I might be dealing with relationships in my life. You've always done it. And that's why I asked you about your spiritual journey, because it's clear to me that these roles stay with you. They're part of the fabric of your soul.
Well, that's why I act. I think one time Harry Cardino, the actor, when I was 17, I was studying with him, and he said, we had a fight about me stepping into on stage an old shack. And he said, well, did you see the cobwebs? I said, have you ever been in a shack? I've been in a shack. I'm from Mississippi. My father helped poor farmers all over the South. He was a veterinarian. Have you ever stepped in a shack, Harry? I fought the teacher. I said, I've been in a shack. I know how to look in a shack. And he got mad. He said, what makes you think you're such a good actress, Diane Ladd? And I said, because I was consummated to be an actress and given birth to be a better one. And I think I said that at 17. And I think that's the truth, you know, Harvey. And also I've studied psychology. I have a degree in nutrition, 7-year study in esoteric psychology. I have a ministerial degree. And so I can entertain you. And I'm an intuitive healer. I've worked in hospitals. Actors are into seventh sense before the rest of the world got into sixth sense. And so when you bring that light inside, whenever you act, that light comes in. You get in touch with your soul. It knows more than you do. You know that you know something. You don't know how you know, but you know. And so that's part of the healing thing, to talk to your body and say, hey, listen, heart, I served you well. Now you got to serve me. You got to help me now. I've been helping you. I've been keeping you alive. Now you got to keep me alive. You have to talk to your body and stay healthy, you know.
So what do you look for before you agree to take on a role?
Something clicks inside, that it's like, what do you look for when you read a poem or you read a story or you watch a movie? What makes you click and go, oh, I love that movie, or I love that book? You know, Harvey, about 4 years ago, where I live outside LA, there were 7 big farms surrounding my home. And I was not aware for 2 or 3 years that they were being enticed to spray with poison pesticide chemicals. In fact, one of my neighbors, I had an argument with him, and he said he was told by Sunkist that the chemicals from Dow and Bayer, that if he didn't spray, they would not buy his fruit and sell his fruit. So they want that fruit that they're feeding you to be sprayed with these poisons. And when they sprayed, my handyman grabbed an apple off my tree, and without washing it, he ate it. And 3 hours later, he was home in bed vomiting from the spray. So if that is on the apple, it might be sinking in the apple. But I got sick from it. It took me down. And I ended up in the hospital 4 years ago with pneumonia. And the doctors at Cedars took my daughter, Laura, aside and said, just treat your mother gently. She will be dead within 6 months.
Oh, my God.
And I did not die. And instead, I did have a kind of death experience. But instead of dying, I decided it's not time for me to go. I got things to do. I did 2 movies, a TV series, and wrote a book. And Laura, she helped me live. She got me an apartment near the ocean instead to make me walk every day. I don't even like walking. And she made me walk every day. And so we started talking to each other, because you see, parents lie to their kids because they want, your mommy and daddy want you to love them and adore them. So they don't tell you all their truths. And then when you're growing up, you lie to mommy and daddy because you want to be adored and loved. So you got the kids and the parents, neither one telling them the truth. And then when mom and dad are dead, you say to yourself, I wish I'd have asked my mother that. Too late. So Laura and I are walking. We think I'm going to die. So we tell each other everything. And so Laura started recording it for posterity. So then her agent said, this is a book. So she took it to 5 companies. Every one of them fought for it. So now we have a book coming out in May. It's called Honey, Baby, Mine. And it's Laura Dern and Diane Ladd talking. And it's about communication. It's about the same thing this movie's about in its own way, because it's about talk to each other. Talk to each other, really talk. Don't be afraid. Talk to each other. And the book is called Honey, Baby, Mine. It's based on a song. It's an old folk song from England, and Woody Guthrie recorded it. And when they were building the dams in Mississippi, the workmen used to sing it. And I know you've heard it. And it goes, you get a line and I'll get a pole, honey. You get a line and I'll get a pole, babe. You get a line and I'll get a pole. We'll go down that crawdad hole, honey, baby mine. So my daddy sang it to me, and he sang it to Laura. So we decided to call our book Honey, Baby, Mine.
Now you got to
so
promise me that you and Laura will come on our show when the book comes out. I'd love to help you promote it.
You got it. It'll be out on Mother's Day this year, 2023, Mama's Day in May. It comes out. But the movie, I'm just asking everybody, I hope to God you get to see it. If you know any Academy voters, tell them to please look at it before they vote. I'm not asking anybody to vote for me. I'm just asking you to look at all the work and decide for yourself the culture you want to promote. You know, that's all.
And the artistry. What
Yeah.
would you say is the key to achieving longevity as an actor?
As a human being, period. I think it's to learn to love yourself. I don't mean selfish love. I'm talking about something fishy about the self. I'm talking about a pure love of, like, you can love life. You can love a flower, you know, love, to have love flow and to let fear and anger out of your body. I lecture a lot on health. And when I lecture, I tell women, for example, a lot of women say, my husband or my boyfriend, he cheated on me, and I call him, do you know what he did to me? And I say to them, he didn't do it to you. He did it to himself. Every piece of pie in this universe gets paid for sooner or later. And by golly, he will pay for that piece of pie. Why are you going to hold on to that resentment and that anger, which sets off free radicals in your own body? Let it go. Let it go. Good riddance. Let it go. And evolve more and draw somebody in on a little bit higher level. But you can't love anybody else until you appreciate yourself. You've been made this great human being. You are magical. Do you know what kind of abilities we have? We invented everything on this planet. Every plane, every ship, every TV that I can see you right now over there in that room. You can see me. How's this possible? The angels can see both of us from where they are 80,000 feet up, but we can see each other. Hey, how is that possible? We have that all inside ourselves, and we have all the ability to heal. And God gave us an herb or something medicinal on this planet for every single ailment. I believe in alternative modalities. I believe you don't throw out the baby with the bath water. And I believe you don't use Band-Aids for crises medicine. And I think that the world is like a piranha or a goldfish, all kinds of fish in the water. Some are very evolved, some are not. There's all kinds. But I think we're here, and I think that we're all part of God. So a creator, no matter how you want to think he looks or is, there's something more powerful than us. And I think that if we're part of God, then we're also God. But we're gods in school. And unfortunately, Harvey, very few people are graduating.
Well, you just said a mouthful there. I think you are just the most amazing human being. I want to tell our viewers that you can learn more about Diane Ladd and follow her career by going to her official website, dianeladd.com. Well, Ms. Diane Ladd, I must tell you, I have so enjoyed this opportunity to chat with you about your amazing life, your career, and especially about your brand new movie, Isle of Hope. I can't wait for everyone to see the film. Congratulations on the well-deserved accolades you're receiving. You ain't seen nothing yet. There's big, big, big triumphs coming your way. And I am so proud to have had this opportunity to talk to you about that amazing movie, your incredible performance, and just to get a glimpse into your soul. You are a healer. I can feel it right through the screen.
Yeah. Well, some people have the ability, most of us have the ability within us somewhere to bring out the white light. And some of us have the ability to transmit that. I think when you're standing on a stage, New York Broadway, and you have to reach out to the audience, you have to learn to feel their energies, you know? So even though that you're behind a camera and doing a character, you can still feel my crew is always my audience. They're my audience. I love my crews. You know, I feel that we're all part of a great unit. The makeup, the hair, it's so important to have a good energy among everyone. And it's the same in a family. It's the same where you work, you know, it's the same in life. So all I can do is start with holding the door open for the next person that walks through behind you. And if they're rude and don't even say thank you, hey, no expectations. Don't do it for them. Do it for yourself, because you are the one evolving, you know? Do it for yourself. Keep your joy. Keep your joy. Don't let anybody rain on your parade. You keep your joy, even if it's a rainy day.
Well, Diane,
let the drops fall on your face and taste them. Melt.
you are such an inspiration. You are such a joy.
So
you are a human Band-Aid. I'll tell you that right now. And your performances, thank you for all the joy you've brought to the world. Thank you for giving me this interview. I consider you a very, very, very dear friend.
Thank you. Right back at you. And I'm going to ask all you people, please say a prayer for my movie, that it gets a good distributor. We don't have a distributor yet. So
it's going to happen. You'll see. Our guest has been the incomparable Diane Ladd, whose new movie, Isle of Hope, will be coming to a theater or a streaming platform near you in the very near future. My name is Harvey Brownstone. Thank you to our producer, Steve Silver. Thank you to my wonderful management team, Rick and Robin at the Marcelli Company in Hollywood, and to our entire team in the UK. Thank you all for joining us. A big thank you to Harriet Schock and to Diane Ladd. See you next time.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out all the great interviews on the Harvey Brownstone Interviews YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are posted.